Here we go. We are live. This is Movie Crap. I hope somebody's out here. I'm gonna, once I see that we're actually on. Are we on? Waiting for the. Looks like we are on my end. Oh, there we go. That's sweet. You can hear me. See, I do a test at the beginning. Let's mute that. Okay. So, yes, hi. Nice to see everybody. I'm excited to be back streaming. It's been an interesting... Hey! There I is. Okay. It's an interesting... Been an interesting... I'm not sure what it's interesting, but something's interesting. Sundays, huh? We are on. Hey, Sinram's here. For once. Aren't we supposed to see me by now? What's going on? Well, I don't know what day it is either. What day does it matter? What day it is? I'm not sure. Stupid women ruins. Hey, Nolan. Okay, I didn't see that was Nolan first. All right, so this is Movie Crap. This is my movie news streaming show. I'm going to be talking about all sorts of stuff, then my most anticipated movies, and I'm going to be ranking the Infinity Train train documentary shorts, so that should be cool. Also, so a lot of ranking things at the end, and all that stuff. But yeah, we're here. This is the first streaming show in 2020. I'm excited. I'm here to do this. I'm going to drink some water. Gonna move things around. I can't believe Sinram's here. That's crazy. Can't believe Nolan's here. Can't believe so many people are here. It's a little crazy that I know in some way. So anyway, I guess we should just get down to it. Before we do, let me just say that this show is made possible by you guys, either through Patreon or by Super Chat. So if you'd like to support the show or support me, please use the Super Chat or donate to Patreon. Both are totally cool and acceptable, and I thank you very much for letting me be able to do this. That's really cool of you. And, oh, Ryan's here. Next Animation. Will's here. Okay. All right. So, I have a bit of a cough, but, because I don't know if you knew this, but if you have a kid, you get all the cool colds that are going around. Anyway, perfect sync tonight. Awesome. I was working on that, and I'm not... Anyway. Alright, so, I think I've said everything at the beginning. It's been a cool... It was a cool Christmas, by the way. It was a good Christmas. Should I talk about... I wanted to talk about 2 gifts I got for Christmas, so maybe that's the best way to do this first. And I have 2 cool gifts, and they are really cool gifts, and I have them right behind me. So let me do that. Fuck it. Let's do that first. Disco Spider just asked about my comic book collection, and I guess, hold on. I guess I wanted to show off this. This is a New Mutants comic my dad got me. I was unaware that this had come out. I'm a huge Bill Sienkiewicz, Chris Claremont fan. I was, like, honestly shocked that this had come out and no one told me. And so it was like really cool when my dad just went, oh, here, this is what I got you. And it's honestly like one of, if not the best present, because I absolutely didn't expect it. Both of my best presents this year were unexpected completely. Yeah, it's a good issue. It kind of fits in with the best of their run. I don't think it is the best of their run, but it's almost like an annual or something. They're doing these kind of reuniting cool creative teams to do a one-shot because of the Marvel's 80th anniversary. So I was surprised they let these guys, because I know it's more of a cult thing, but it's 2 of my favorite creators and my favorite run. So it's really cool that he got me that. I was like shocked. And it's a good issue. It's a really good issue. And the second thing, and this is pretty epic, is my wife got me the Godzilla collection box set things, and I was really surprised because I wasn't going to ask anyone for this, and the art is really cool in this. Which one was... There's a lot of... They do covers for pretty much every... Like, they do a big page thing for every Godzilla movie. So if you have the money, this is like absolutely must have. And if I do get to do, I have done some Godzilla reviews, but like this is Destroy All Monsters right here. That's pretty cool, I think. And oh, Nijikichu's here, and awesome. Hi, Nijikichu. And what was the other one? There's another one I wanted to. Aha! Okay, Godira. This one was one of my favorites. I thought that was really cool. So anyway, I'm going to, and it comes, and the discs come like this. It's like, it's crazy. Anyway, I never do showing off stuff. I'm sorry if that was braggy, but they're both shocked. I was like, honestly, like, everyone was like, oh, did you want this? And I was like, yes, but I was too scared to ask because it was like a lot of money. I don't know. Oh, you said, okay, Disco Spider. I will show you my Boondocks book because it's right here. It's right here. And then we'll get, this is like a real loose show. You have no idea how I'm sorry, Major Mekazawa. I got a kitchen mixer for Christmas to cook babies with. That sounds like Nolan. That sounds like Nolan to me. Like what? I'm sorry. This is like the weirdest way to start. But yeah, here we go. This is it's a Right to Hustle. It's thick. It's a collection. If you know, every comic strip thing is a collection, but there's one that are collections of the various books. And this is one of those, and it has the collection pretty much of everything you'd want from the good period of the strips. This has everything, so you should, if you want to get into the Boondock strip, just get this. That's my advice. All right. Show us your Knock Force book, Jim. What Knock Force? My pitch book? That's in a box, and I guess I do have one of the pitch books, but all right, I'm just going to put this down here, because I guess I could do that, but it's not back there. I do have one still. All right. Anyway, everyone in the chat, tell me, or in the comments, if most of you watch this later, tell me what you got for Christmas. I'm just curious if you're happy. But yeah, that was my wife got me the Godzilla thing. Honestly, surprised me, an amazing gift. My dad got me the New Mutants comic, which I would say they're both even tiered because I didn't expect either. I really didn't expect the New Mutants thing. Show us. I don't have Naruto. You like the Naruto, Nolan, you weeaboo. All right, so I'm sorry I called you that, Nolan. I'm sorry. All right, so let's get into the actual movie news that I'm assuming people are actually here to actually hear me talk about. Right? That's probably what's going on here. I'm assuming. Show us your deepest, darkest regrets. Well, that's my face, Nolan. Anyway, someone got a Daria DVD. Cool. Show your Rent DVD. Oh, Akira 35. All right. So the first bit of news is Deadpool 3. Fun fact, my first time watching live. Thank you. Kicking off the fun. Whoa, 2 fun facts. Hold on. Sinram, thank you very much. And thank you. Sinram's been supportive of me for a very long time. So thank you very much, Sinram. First Red Bull chug to you, I guess. Will sucks. This is from Will. Another super chat. Sucks that the Grudge remake turned out to be a fluke. Was really rooting for Nicholas Pence. Would recommend Piercing if you haven't seen it. Crazy movie, but a fun watch. I heard it. Will, I heard it takes place. I'm sorry, I just referred to Will like we're having a conversation in front of all these people. But I heard it takes place concurrently with the American Other Grudge, which sounds bizarre to me. But I've actually saw the Grudge a long time ago, so I don't remember it that well, which is mostly due to the state I was in when I was watching it originally. All right, anyway, moving on. Hey, art school is fun, kids. You should go to it. Anyway, so Deadpool 3. Did I have enough? Let me have. I think there was enough. I don't think people pay me for the Red Bull chugs, right? I don't know. Anyway. Deadpool 3. So we've had a lot of rumors about Deadpool 3 happening since Disney bought 20th Century Fox. It seemed like the only franchise you would bring over since it is insanely profitable, and since 2 did just about what 1 did. I don't think culturally, I don't think it was a movie we talk about as much, but it still made just as much, which is pretty damn good, to be honest, for any franchise. So it was obvious they would make a 3. We'd heard rumors from the writers previously, which seems like Sorry, which seemed like it may be, but like we needed something more official. Until Ryan Reynolds went on to promote Six Underground, which I only watched half of while I was wrapping presents, and it seemed a little crazy. Maybe I'll finish. I don't know. Confirmed that they are working on a Deadpool 3. Since Kelly and Ryan, which is an ABC show, which is also owned by Disney, I would consider this pretty fucking official. This is as official as you're gonna get, because like Disney wouldn't, clear all those. By the way, all those talk show things are pre-rehearsed and pre-discussed, and they probably knew he was gonna do it. And Disney was probably like, "Hey, could you do that?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." That brings up another thing that Red Letter Media, I noticed, was talking about how someone said something on a talk show about John Boyega losing his script, and like it was when he lost his script, that was like this pre-planned, like they had this whole pre-planned thing on a talk show, and I was like, yeah, every talking point is it's part of a movie. Anyway, I find it weird that I've heard people going like, did you know like talk shows are all like pre-planned and stuff? I'm like, yes, that has always been the case. So maybe people have been duped, but I've been surprised by like everyone kind of getting all conspiracy theory-y about talking points on talk shows, because yes, they very much rehearse those beforehand and clear them with agents and come up with talking points before they go on press tours for major motion pictures. It's all like, it's actually part of why they get paid. So anyway, it's official because he did this in a very official way that they're working on Deadpool 3. We don't know a date. We don't know when it's going to come out. There's all sorts of rumors and whatnot. But I know he had Ryan Reynolds, who seems to be the chief creative. I like Michi Kichi's one. We don't know when it's going to happen, but Ryan Reynolds has said that he's not sure what he wants to do, because he did feel like some of the charm left because of all the budget they had with 2. So I think they really do need to come up with what they want to do with 3 to keep it going. Sorry. All right, so the next thing is Hasbro bought Entertainment One, which also has Peppa Pig and Peppa Land and all that stuff. Peppa Pig and PJ Masks or whatever it is. The deal has finally closed. I previously talked about this deal. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, there's going to be a Peppa Pig movie and all this stuff." There's like literally no talk of that. There's like none of it. It's just people wanted to say, "Hey, the deal's closed," and give it more of an oomph to that story. But to my understanding, like there's no plans for any of the Entertainment One shows to have a movie just yet. But I didn't know that Entertainment One had also done Green Book, which was okay. I didn't know that. I was like, oh, so Green Book. So Hasbro owns Green Book. So I hope that Green Book 2 crossover with Transformers and G.I. Joe. I think that would be a great thing to do. Let's talk about hold on. Okay. Let's talk about Uncharted, and then I'll talk about Cats. Uncharted has lost another director. This would be like the 7th or something. Everyone from David O. Russell to, I don't know, so many. It's like hard to keep track of everybody at this point. But basically, okay, Not Plausible brings up that it was a fake story about a script being lost. Yeah, sure, but a lot of those stories are faked, or my point is more that a lot of those stories are faked or changed to be more palpable for, I mean, some of those stories might be totally made up. Like, I don't know, but I've heard that's happened before. I'm just saying that I find it odd that this suddenly hit people. That's my only thing. I like those guys. I'm just saying. So Uncharted lost its 7th director after a lot of directors, and it lost Travis Knight, who previously obviously did Kubo and the Two Strings, and a live-action debut being Bumblebee. Where's a list of all the directors? Is there a list? Somebody had a list, and I lost it. Oh, wait, hold on. Here are all the directors who are going to do Uncharted at one time. Sean Levy, Joe Carnahan, David O. Russell, Neil Berger, Seth Gordon, and Dan Trachtenberg, and then Travis Knight. Apparently he's falling out more because of scheduling conflicts with Spider-Man 3, the second one, because Tom Holland has to do that because they wanted this out next December. I'm a little surprised Sony screwed this up because they very much want to give Tom Holland another franchise to kind of... Because the problem with Tom Holland when you have most stars of... when you have these stars of like comic book franchises and stuff, they want to kind of like... Almost like the old studio era where a star would be associated with one studio. But because Spider-Man is split off into 2 studios, he's honestly doing more with Disney with the Onward and Spies in Disguise, which is a Disney movie, than he's been doing with Sony. And I think Sony's a little butthurt about it, but I'm a little surprised they haven't actually, done anything about it, which seems to be the constant problem with this movie, with this one, because they should have let this happen because they want to help Tom Holland's career, which would also help Spider-Man, but they're not doing that, and shows like how crappy Sony is that they've managed to mess this up and lose Travis Knight, who I thought was a better director. I'm not sure, no one's sure what kind of version this movie's going to be whenever it gets made, but they really do want Tom Holland to do it. I think maybe if they were going to do it, I would just say, look, however this goes, could we just have him do it after Spider-Man and just go get him right into it? Because this needs to happen at this point. Like, Sony's like letting... Tom Holland's a major star. There's a lot of star potential and could be doing a lot more, but he's not with Sony. He's doing it with Disney with voice acting stuff. And like that other movie with Daisy Ridley, I don't even know what's going on with that. And like all this stuff. I just think he's not in the greatest space with them. And hold on. We have a Niji Kichu fun fact. Godzilla's roar was supposed to be a mix of animal noises, but it sounded too natural. So a bass guitar and pine tree coated leather glove. A bass guitar and a pine tar coated leather glove was used. Wow. Cheers. Thank you very much, Niji Kichu. Thank you for the support. That's an interesting one. Anyway, I know I think Tom Holland as a career. Some people will in the chat is bring up that he's still gonna have a huge year. I'm sure Tom Holland will be fine. What I'm saying is Tom Holland with Sony, that relationship after the Spider-Man thing, whatever happens with it is over. I don't think he'll be making many movies with them because I think they promise him, hey, you're gonna have Uncharted, and he's like, yes, I want to do Uncharted, and they're like, oh, sorry, we fucked it up again. We've only had 7 directors. I mean, this is a ridiculous development. Like, the amount of money they've spent on development. Sometimes movies literally just get made because the development costs, like, are on a paper, and they're like, dude, could someone just, like, get this away from me so we had something made of this? We've spent so much. And I think, like, Sony needs to... They probably really very much want to, but the fact that they've had this fallen apart again is grossly embarrassing and very Sony. So I have no faith in Sony. That's just like how they are always forever is they're just like that. Sorry, my phone was right there. All right, so next is Cats. Cats bombed pretty bad. How about bad? Hold on, I wanted to have a real number for how much Cats has made at this point, because wow, it's not even in the top 5 of the day on a Friday. Where? Holy crap! Wait, where is it? Oh, number 10. Oh! Sorry, I'm on Box Office Mojo. Didn't even make $1 million. It made 22. It's only made 22. I thought it was like 40. Oh my god, that is bad. This is like a real Ford v Ferrari is gonna beat it. Is making almost beating it. Well, not that much, but still, it's like, why are you that close to... Oh my god, I didn't know this... Man, talk about Jim live reacts to box office grosses. So, Cats is doing really bad, despite the internet loving Cats, because it's... I mean, I saw Cats. It's amazing in its horribleness, but most people don't like to see things ironically, because they're lame, but also because, they probably want to see good movies. But point is, although Cats is beyond good, so maybe, but regardless, Cats is doing very badly. And obviously, last time I talked about how they sent out a fix of Cats. They fixed them. They changed the special effects, things like that. We'll talk about that maybe a bit later. But it turns out Cats always had production problems. Starting in April, they're having problems like Tom Hooper kept changing the special effects constantly. They didn't put the right markers on the actors for the special effects to be easier. They were constantly tinkering with things like for far too long. That was delaying production. They had tons and tons of delays, and I don't even understand why they released it in Christmas, because it seems to me like it seems to me like they didn't I don't know, they should have waited a little bit. But it's kind of funny that like this has so many production problems. It couldn't even, as an animated movie, like I said before, DreamWorks almost made it and rejected it after Amblimation fell apart before they could make it, and which is why Spielberg's involved, and Amblin is one of the logos in it. I just think it is probably it's pretty hilarious. I would like an oral history of how this all fell apart, but it seems to me that like they didn't really know what they were doing with the special effects, and then they made this monstrosity of a movie, and I think they thought it would go over well, because when I saw it, there were actual fans of the musical Cats in the audience, and they were like, I don't know what that was, but that was not Cats. And the fact that like fans of Cats hated it, and you know, I'm in New York, so naturally I'm going to get more of the, you know, Broadway crowd seeing a Cats movie. But the fact that they don't like it, they're getting no support from the fan base. They're getting no support for the public, and the public's just bleh. I also think there's like way too many options. So I do think maybe releasing it in maybe not February, because obviously Sonic the Hedgehog is going to be gigantic or whatever. It could have worked out for it, but I know musicals do better. They have pulled musicals do better at Christmas. They have pulled the For Your Consideration page, which I think is more because someone put Cats as postmodernism. Niji Kichu, you should try to see Cats. I think you'd enjoy it. In a ridiculous way. I don't know. Bring some drinks maybe. Or pregame, or, you know, just be prepared to look at, it's like a so bad it's good movie, but you like really want to watch it. Like I was never really let down by it, but the fact that they're pulling the For Your Consideration page, I believe Universal made it, and they can deal with a bomb because they've had a pretty good year. But I think it's pretty shocking how much this bombed, because I thought, because Cats is such a big IP and such a big brand, it could do well, but it just seemed like it's not doing well enough, and the studio kind of knows it, and especially because did it drop a lot of theaters or something? Like, I don't even... Oh, it did. It lost... Oh, it went down 49%. I don't... It's still in a lot of theaters, so I don't know. The Grudge is going to be in third. That's interesting. Anyway, it's still in a lot of theaters, so I don't really... I don't know. But I'm surprised. I thought the winter box office would kind of bring it up. It'd be like The Greatest Showman, but apparently this is too ridiculous for modern audiences. Greatest Showman, which I only saw sort of parts of on HBO, seemed ridiculous, but they went too far. I actually talked about this. Paleo and I would talk about this with Jurassic Park 3, not to name drop, but with Jurassic Park 3, where Jurassic Park 3 kind of pushes the B movie thing too far, because it's an actual B movie. It's not Jurassic Park where it's a B movie at an A level. And I think there is a real thing with audiences where if you push, even if a lot of movies are basically B movies or stupid movies or, you know, have dumb concepts, but they do them in a more classy way, if you push that too far, audiences, modern, regular audiences reject it, and I think that's sort of what happened here. I like Ryan's comment. Mike Myers is looking at Cats going, finally I'm off the hook. There were a lot of cats and hats in that. They didn't make a joke about the Cats in the Hat movie. But what was the magician cat did look a little like Mike Myers in Cat in the Hat. All right, so someone told me about this, and I forget, and I'm sorry. I think it was Cornbread on Twitter told me about Jorge Gutierrez shared Billion Brick Race imagery. And can I get it up here? Hold on. Okay, so this was shared on Twitter. Here we go. This is billion brick race imagery concept art that has never been released. It's the guy in the wheelchair there, red-haired lady, all this stuff. I'm going to move it over so we can see the other people, and I'll cut to it in a second. Hold on. This was shared on Jorge Gutierrez's Twitter because he was going to do a billion brick race at one point, and then didn't, because according to him, now that Disney is in charge, now that Lego is leaving Warner Brothers, it is not going to happen. Which I thought kind of maybe it could happen. That if you remember when I talked about Lego leaving Warner Brothers for maybe Universal, which hasn't been done. No one's figured out what that's going to be. That could happen in another studio, but it sounds like he doesn't think it will. So since he was the one working on it, I would trust him more than anybody. But maybe it could. I think Lego Batman 2 probably will not happen at this point. But I like those images. Apparently he said it was a film about like class issues and gentrification, and have lots of 80s and 90s movie references. It sounded cool. I even like this concept, like a race movie with Legos. I kind of thought, hey, just make Fury Road but with Legos. I'd be down with that. But I think it could have been a cool movie. I like the concept art. I really do think that it was probably one of the better ideas for a Lego movie, having like a race movie with a lot of different designs, like an original movie. And I think that would have been cooler. One of the things that I think hurt the Lego movie kind of franchise is having all these like too many brands that it just felt like they were really going into the cash grab thing, when you thought you were surprised that the first movie was so much more than that, and then they just went directly into that. It felt like even though Lego Batman got away with it, I think you can only do that so many times, and 2 in a year was a bit much. But this is the one Lego. I almost wish this had happened over Lego Movie 2, to be honest with you. I thought it was a cool concept, so I'm sad to see those concepts, see what he was playing with. I think sounded really cool. You could have had a cool thing to say with class issues, with a race movie, and with Legos, and with Jorge Gutierrez's imagination, and those designs looked really cool. So hey, I got that to work. The pictures, okay. It's not too hard, but it's hard to talk and do this and do that, because it's basically, this is all me. So it's all people in the chat, to be honest with you, who very much help with the show. But I mean, in terms of operating everything, that's what I meant. All right, so I don't really want to get. I want to get into Star Wars, but I sort of like to do another topic before I fall into that nonsense. Oh, okay. So there are all these comments about the possibility of a trans character in the MCU, and you're probably like, well, what was going on with that? Because it seemed like there was, and then there wasn't. And I think it was just a simple miscommunication kind of thing. Basically, Kevin Feige was at this event for the New York Film Academy in LA, which doesn't make any sense, but hey, that's their brand name, so they're the New York Film Academy. Thank you, Jonathan B. Basically, someone asked if there would be more representation of LGBTQ plus in the MCU, and he said yes. We are working on that, and apparently there's a character who's gay in the Eternals, and I think the person specifically asked about the T part of it, and I think Kevin Feige, or after they asked if there's more representation, asked about would there be a trans character, and I think he might have misheard it and was basically answering the LGBTQ plus thing and missed the trans part. Or supposedly, because I haven't seen a recording of it, or maybe if there is, maybe not. But apparently, he really just meant there'd be a gay character in Eternals, but not a trans character at this time. And a lot of people are surprised because Feige's pretty tight-lipped, pretty controlled, very almost like a very very like nose, has never gotten in hot water for anything. So it was a little surprising because he's usually really good at doing representation and being honest and like everything like that. So and not too honest. And it is a little surprising, but again, we didn't hear a recording of it, so I'm slightly giving him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was too loud. I don't know. But it sounds like that is not going to happen, and he was a little embarrassed about it. But that's it's not much of Yeah. But apparently, I'm hoping, supposedly, this character in the Eternals won't be something that can be removed for foreign audiences, which happen with Star Wars. Let's just talk about Star Wars. So there's like a lot to talk about Star Wars since the 2 weeks since we last had movie crap. First off, that movie came out and it sucked, but also just everything we've learned from them. Now, first off, the Niji Kichu brought up the thing that happened, and I think we all knew what would happen, which was what the gay kiss at the end of Rise of Skywalker would be cut out for foreign audiences. Sorry, let me just... I think that was something everyone said, I bet that's what you're going to do, and then they did it, and we were all like, oh, that sucks. Why did you did that? Cool. And my maintain thing about this is, let's stop acting like any of these franchises are doing anything for anyone of anything to do with gay rights or gay representation or LGBTQ plus representation. Until, like, let's support queer cinema, which is what it used to be referred to. I'm not sure. That seems like sort of an outdated term, but that's what I always heard referred to when I was growing up. But, or gay cinema or gay directors, they're out there. They need the support more so, these smaller independent films about issues like that, rather than superhero movies that seem to be ignoring that community. So I understand those are the more popular movies, but my kind of stance on that, like, look, I grew up watching John Waters movies. I've always had that kind of cinema in my life, and that's the kind of cinema we should be pursuing and actively talking about, and not like, hey, Power Rangers had a thing we could dub over or whatever. I'm sick of that. Anyway, so then the thing with Rose Tico not being in it very much, Chris Terrio first said, oh, we tried, but there are problems with, like, getting the special effects to work with her thing. And then he walked back on that comments saying, oh, ILM was great. It had nothing to do with them. Sorry. It had nothing to do with them. It was just we couldn't get the dialogue to work, blah, blah, blah. And we had to have Rose there with Leia for some reason, which I always thought was kind of lame. And they have to have her there with Leia and, like, to represent this thing and everything like that. And Chris Terrio, who, by the way, also wrote Batman v Superman, I brought that up in my review. I don't know how, because he wrote Argo. I guess everyone who worked on Argo, everyone thought they were going to have this great career, and, like, it has just not turned out the way everyone planned. Like, Argo's good. I don't love it or anything like that. I don't think it made anyone's best of the decade list. But when it came out, everyone was like, the promise of Affleck and Terrio and all this crap. And, like, what have they given us? Like, Batman v Superman, Justice League, they both worked on. And now this, but Affleck wasn't there for that. I think Rose should have been utilized better. But I think, like, if you look at the sequel trilogy, they failed to really recognize Lando, who's in a similar place where he was introduced in the second movie. And I thought was part of the group. I thought he was, part of the main group of Star Wars, but we didn't even get him till the end. So I don't think Disney, as much as we're talking about representation, and even though they, Black Panther seems to be the thing they keep referring to, is like, hey, we do good. We made Black Panther that one time, even though it was mostly Feige saying just let Ryan Coogler do whatever he wants. But they just, I don't know, it makes sense. That's how they do with these Star Wars films. And it's just embarrassing because I thought Rose was a cool character in Last Jedi. I thought she should have been used better. And this whole thing of him, like, it did seem like he was trying to make up and change what happened from Last Jedi. But I also think, like, JJ isn't really good at talking with the filmmaker. He's good at just showing off. And I think it might have been, I don't know. But it just might have been just his natural crappiness as a storyteller. Now, I know, and Niji Kichu kind of, the chat's really helping me out tonight. Niji Kichu just brought up, was it just me, or was there a lot cut out of Rise of Skywalker? There was a lot cut out, including what happened with Palpatine and how he came back, and several other things. And supposedly there's a 3-hour JJ cut with Dominic Monaghan has even said, who's in the film, that they should release it at some point. I would think Disney Plus and even HBO Max with the Justice League cut would actually think of releasing director's cuts, because it would make you want to, use their streaming service. I honestly don't think a longer movie would have helped the film. I want to see it again at some point, But to be honest, I haven't seen The Last Jedi a second time, and I actually want to do that, so I'd probably do that first. But yeah, I guess there is one. J.J. Abrams hasn't really talked about it as much. It seems like other people are, but I don't know if they will release a cut to a movie that's been pretty badly received. But we'll see. There is now a JJ cut. I've even seen people say, like, talking about the JJ cut, you know, who is that? Grace Randolph, sorry. It trivializes the release the Snyder cut thing, which is hilarious because, like, no one takes that seriously at this point. But the JJ cut, we'll see if it comes out. We'll see if it means absolutely anything to anyone. But it looks like there's going to be talk of this for a while, and people are going to be like, he could have saved the thing, and if all these things were explained. I seriously doubt it, but if it ever comes out, I will totally watch. Same with the Snyder cut. If they ever come out, I'll totally watch them and review them, and like go like, oh hey, maybe it was better, maybe it sucked more. I don't think it would have been better. I think the problem is JJ is good at starting things, but he doesn't understand when he starts things how to end them. And there are much more problems with the sequel franchise, like the fact that like the older cast had way too much to do with that movie. It should have been about more the younger cast. And honestly, I felt like both this and the prequel trilogy, which I don't think were that planned out as much as they want to believe, either way, and even the original trilogy really wasn't, is that they can't really, it seems like they can't achieve everything they need to in 3 films. And if you know you can't achieve everything in those 3 films, just fuck the trilogy thing, make another movie. It felt like, honestly, there should have been a movie between Last Jedi and what they wanted to do in Rise of Skywalker. Probably would have worked a little better, frankly. You know, like let them go on some dumb, pointless adventure in 3, and then 4, you know, Star Wars 10, which they're gonna make. I don't care what they say, or Episode 10. They do the real wrap up thing, you know. And it felt like that with the prequel stuff. There should have been more there, and I guess they do that in the Clone Wars show, which was the Gendy one and the CG one, which I kept hearing good things about, but I've never watched. But I definitely should at some point. Okay. Anyway, I think that was everything to say on Star Wars, but I wanted to bring up also. Oh, okay. So the Star Wars, the one thing I want to talk about, Star Wars fan thing, like you're not a real Star Wars fan unless you've done this or that. Star Wars is like one of the most popular things in the history of existence. The whole idea that you can only be a real Star Wars fan if you do this or that or some nonsense like that is so stupid to me, because it's like it's a thing that's popular for everyone. So it's like this whole like gatekeepy thing on something that is one of the biggest things ever. Are you going to be gatekeepy about the Beatles? I mean, I know people are, so I guess never mind. But I just find that bizarre. Like it's like a thing for everyone. Release the McClunky cut. I've seen a lot of release the Creech cut. I still support your cause. Release the Creech cut. I'm sorry I didn't. You know what? This all trivializes release the Creech cut. When are we going to see the Creech cut exactly? It should come out. The Creech cut is the ultimate cut, and we all know this. Anyway, they should release the Creech cut. If you would like to release the Creech cut on my YouTube channel and not give me a copyright strike, I 100% will. If anyone who's listening has the rights to monster trucks and has a print of the previous Creech version, I will absolutely release that on my YouTube channel. I won't do a dumb thing like, hi, I'm Jim, subscribe to me. None of that. I mean, I would like to, but, you know, whatever. We'll just release it. Just let me do it. Everyone knows, all the greatest Monster Trucks fans subscribe to my YouTube channel. Right? Everyone in the chat's... Yeah, anyway. All right, so David Ayer wants to make a Dirty Dozen remake. I really like the original Dirty Dozen. I reviewed it around the time Suicide Squad came out, but I really liked the original Dirty Dozen. You should definitely check it out. However, he wants to remake it, but not to have it set in World War II, but have it done be a contemporary thing. To be honest, David Ayer, I think he's obviously very influenced by the original Dirty Dozen. I think he would be really good at doing a Dirty Dozen, but I kind of am like, why don't you have... I think it should be take place during a war, but a lot of what made that film really cool is it had a crazy good cast, like from Jim Brown to John Cassavetes to Telly Savalas. It had like a really great cast. So you'd have to get like... I think he could... Like if you look at... what was the damn... Oh, Fury, the tank movie he made. I think he could if he casts it well. He could do that. So I'm a little like, this could be dumb, and another part of me is like, yeah, I think it would work, to be honest with you. It seems like almost a little too direct David Ayer, if we're being real with ourselves. But yeah. So I wanted to talk about Uncut Gems, which I'm actually going to see tomorrow. What just happened? Okay. And is apparently the film with the 7 most F-bombs, or fucks, because I don't give a fuck and I fucking say fuck on my show, is the 7 most fucks in cinema history. Because someone made this list and it's an official thing. Yeah, I know, right? So, the one with the most fucks, if you're wondering, is SwearNet, the movie, with 535 fucks, and a movie called Fuck, which you'd be surprised. You'd think a movie just called Fuck would be the one with the most. But no, it is 2 with 857 fucks. However, those are both apparently those are documentaries about swearing, which a couple people have acknowledged that's a little not fair. It's a little not fair. I will review Uncut Gems. I want to do Uncut Gems. I like Ryan's Uncut Gems is truly outrageous, truly outrageous. That's good. Yeah, a lot of I'm hoping to have a review of Uncut Gems soon. It's just been a crazy couple of days, crazy Christmas season. But the narrative film with the most fucks is actually Wolf of Wall Street with 569 fucks. I heard South Park 2 Niji Kicho. I don't know why South Park isn't as high. Anyway, maybe it's like in concession. I don't know. And Summer of Sam. Does anyone remember that? Probably not. 435 fucks. But right above Uncut Gems is Casino. Martin Scorsese has 2 in the top 10 with 422 fucks. End of Watch is number 10. Alpha Dog, if you remember that, 367. And right behind Uncut Gems with 392 is Straight Outta Compton. Anyway, that's a dumb thing that now you know, I guess, that Uncut Gems, 7th most fucks in a movie. Yeah. Oh, I forgot a Star Wars thing. So, after, this should have been, anyway. Mandalorian Season 2 is coming out in fall 2020. We don't have an exact date. It seems like with the streaming stuff, they're like, I don't know, at some point during this thing or whatever. So that was announced right after episode 7. Or episode 8, or the final episode, whatever it was. I will have a review of that. I'm hoping to shoot that and have it out at some point next week. But sorry, I haven't gotten to that yet. But there will be a review of it. And yeah. Anyway, they need to make a Surge Soda movie. What do you think? What? Is that worth that? I don't get that. Okay, anyway. But yes, there's going to be a Mandalorian Season 2 will come out fall 2020. Much like, I'm assuming maybe a little earlier than we got Season 1. But they're already working on Season 2. Anyway, so Martin Scorsese was asked about the Joker. And he said, he was like, I could have produced it, but I didn't. I've seen clips of it. And parts of it, but I get it. I don't need to see it. Which, to be honest, everyone's compared that film to Taxi Driver, and everyone who's seen Taxi Driver doesn't seem to like it as much. So it's not really surprising that the guy who directed Taxi Driver is not interested in seeing it. Is not surprising to me, and it sounds very Martin Scorsese. His press tour is just him shitting on most of moviedom at this point. Which is kind of funny, to be honest with you. To me, I think it's kind of funny. But yes, he's sort of like, I don't really need to see it. And to be honest, if Martin Scorsese was a friend of mine, which he's not, and I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, YouTube didn't let you know about that. I'm usually here at 10:30 on Saturdays, so just try to follow me on Twitter, Tyler. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, just typical what I expect from Martin Scorsese in his press tour. But it is kind of funny, especially because his producing partner did produce it. And you would think he'd be a little nicer about it, but whatever. Whatever. I don't know. So, A Quiet Place 2, the trailer, the real trailer, not the little thing we got before, came out. And at first I was like, I guess I'll see it. I like the first one. It probably won't be as good. And then I saw the trailer and it kind of changed my mind, particularly the opening part of that trailer where it's her and Emily Blunt in the car with her kids right as the alien kind of invasion happens, which was a pretty cool sequence. And I think, okay, sorry, someone's bring up that, yes, I guess, Joker is closer to a King of Comedy, but it's closer to King of Comedy and Taxi Driver, and they're both Scorsese films, so of course anyway, it still works from what I was saying. Just to clarify that. But I think A Quiet Place 2, it looks promising because I really like that opening sequence, and it reminded me a bit of what happened in Children of Men. Not as good as Children of Men, but Children of Men is one of the greatest action films of the past, I don't know, millennium or whatever. But I really like what they're doing with it and the idea of like this broader world. It seemed actually pretty interesting. It seemed like they're kind of exploring the world and world building it a lot more than they did in the first one. And that seems really interesting. Ryan has brought up so many A Quiet Place 2s. I'll just read off a bunch. Quiet Place 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold, The New Batch, Back in the Habit, The Quickening, The Secret of the Ooze, Their First Assignment. Wow. That's funny, Ryan. All right. So, but anyway, I think Quiet Place 2 looked promising. It looked more promising than it has any right to be, and I think it could be pretty cool. Now everyone's doing A Quiet Place 2 ones. Quiet Boys Forever, that one's a good one. Monsters Unleashed, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, A Tale of Two Kitties, A Quieter Place, Quiet Place 2 Judgment Day. The chat's always fun. The chat's like, thank you all for that. Thank you, Ryan, for starting that. Thank you, everyone, for participating. That was funny. All right. So there's a bit of a controversy. I guess it's not. Oh, hold on. Before we got to that, fun fact: the James Gunn Scooby-Doo movie was supposed to have a Muppet Scooby, but CGI was used. Also, there's an R-rated cut of the film that exists somewhere. Release that cut, because that sounds interesting. To be honest, they should release that cut right when Scoob comes out. I'm here. What did I miss? Thank you, Austin. 2 super chats in a row. This is for you, Niji Kichu. Thank you. That was a good fun fact. And we should be talking about that cut because that would be interesting. Release it around the time Scoob comes out. Thank you. Oh, and Austin, I'm here. What did I miss? You missed everything, but there's still more. Don't worry. Quiet Place 2, Cruise Control, Keys to the Kingdom, The Escape Clause. This chat is not a quiet place. Quiet Harder, Quiet Breaks the Internet. Have you seen Trolls 2? Troll 2, I mean, no, a long time ago. Escape to Africa, I think I got everything. Quiet Harder, Quiet Breaks the Internet. Okay. I think I read them all. It's funny. Anyway, thank you for the support, Niji. Sorry, Niji Kichu and Ryan. Golden Receiver, of course. Okay, so, things leaving Disney Plus. Now, this at first seemed like what the fuck, because you have Home Alone 1 and 2 left. Strange Magic left. I know, guys. Calm down. But basically, what happened is Disney Plus is trying to get, whenever they have the streaming rights to their stuff, they're going to put it on Disney Plus. But because they signed deals with Netflix and other streaming services for years in advance, which seems like, were they not planning this? Like, there seems so many things that I'm a little confused, like why they did this. These things will go to another streaming service and then come back to Disney Plus again, and could leave again too. Apparently Black Panther is signed to Netflix permanently after 2026 or something. So I don't really understand how the fuck they screwed this up so bad, because to my understanding, when Black Panther was in production being released, we all knew Disney Plus was going to happen. So I don't know what there's a lot of this I don't really understand, and clearly it seems confusing. I think it was like Strange Magic, Home Alone 1 and 2, a lot of stuff, but I'm a little just confused on how that all went down. Anyway, so there were a ton of stuff announced for Disney Plus in 2020. I'll talk about more of that later, but the one thing that was surprising is WandaVision, which was supposed to come out in 2021, is now been pushed up to 2020. We didn't really have a date necessarily for that. We just had a idea what was going to happen. But I think, it has been moved up. We actually don't fully know when the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to come out and stuff like that. So, but as well as Stargirl, which I keep hearing good things about. But we'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, WandaVision was moved up. We don't have official dates for anything. And same with Netflix did a similar Twitter thread of all the stuff they're coming out with, but no release dates, which seems weird. It seems like they could probably move them at any time, and they don't want to let us know. So anyway, I have to blow my nose, so I'm going to take a quick couple-minute break, and then I'll talk about Collider and more stuff. So I'll be right back. Doop-a-doop. Okay. Bless you, Jim. Oh, I could move my chair? Maybe... Well, now I'm here. Let me put this back. It's not really my book collection. It's like my and my wife's book collection. How about this? If I take another break, which I might, because the snot is real, I will do that. As exciting as it is to look at my book collection, I don't know how exciting that is, but the smell of fear, oh my god. Alright, is Disney Plus canon in America only? That's funny. I like that. Alright, so, I want to talk about, okay. We'll do all this stuff, and then it's ranking, and then ranking of Infinity Train, anticipated movies, questions, but I have a few more topics. So, this week kind of a major thing happened. Collider decided to stop almost all of their movie discussion shows except for your consideration. Those being Jedi Council, Collider Heroes, and probably the biggest one, which would be Collider Movie Talk. Now, a lot of movies discussion shows and good movie sites have ended, and it always kind of puts a damper on my mood and even gives me a bit of an existential crisis, because I wonder, it is hard to do movie stuff because you can't cover everything. It's not physically possible. There's way too many movies coming out. And you kind of have to try to make good content and say good things. You want to say interesting things and stuff like that. And it's not it's a lot of fun. I absolutely love it, but it is hard to do. I'm not going to deny that, but it is sad between Collider and I think since I've been doing it, things that have like the Dissolve I thought was a great site and that ended, which had most of what made the AV Club back in the day special. Although the AV Club is still really good, but not as good as it used to be. From 80s All Over was a great podcast and that ended recently. What else? 80s All Over. The Young Turks had a show that now I'm forgetting. That's embarrassing. But the point is a lot of these shows have gone away. What was the Young Turks one called? It's like, whatever. That one ended. I'm sure someone in the chat was like, this is what it's been. But the thing is with Collider is I think they have a lot of good people on. Perry Nemiroff. I think Jeff Snyder is really good on those shows. But the problem is I would listen to him like while I'm cooking, while I'm doing stuff. But I also what? Pizza Party podcast didn't end. We're doing one like tomorrow. What are you fucking... What? Was that a joke? I'm assuming that joke. But was good. Was good? It's still good. Oh, What the Flick. I knew Ryan would get it. Okay. What the Flick. And I should just text him. Or DM him. I don't have his... Anyway. Point is I think movie discussion shows live and die on someone being interesting and informative and know what they're talking about. And I think the problem with Collider is they would sometimes have interesting people on, but for the most part they had a lot of people who I don't think had enough interesting things to say and were good enough at discussions and would just kind of like, I don't think I think they had the potential to do great stuff, but I do think they had people on that were just like, hey, I like Star Wars and comics. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really think your perspective is that interesting. I think you should know a lot more than that. Or if you're going to have one of those people on, not have two of those people. Like, what's that guy, Coy, who would just talk for hours? I don't mean to like bash anybody, but he just like talks a lot. And I never felt like he was saying very much of anything. And I think, like, to be honest, if I was going to, redo the show, I could come up with better critics and better pundits and stuff. But there are also times, like, on my ride home on the subway, I would listen to it because it would definitely, like, help me take a nap. So, as much as I'm sad that it's gone, and it was probably one of the first movie discussion shows on YouTube, I will admit that I slept through like a lot of episodes, and that's probably not a good sign. And the views, I think one of the other things with it, and John Campea has talked about the Collider thing, and I was surprised. I'm not a huge John Campea fan, but I was curious his perspective on it. And he brought up a good point. It's like, it's kind of like a big show, it's like they have a lot of money going into it and they just weren't getting the kind of views. And I think the problem is, when you have these, you've had these podcasts with like a studio and everything like that, I feel like kind of the internet isn't there yet for corporations. They're there for like Midnight Edge or other YouTube channels, but not for them. And they spent all this money and they're getting like less views than I do, or like, views that are like, I shouldn't be in the area that they are, and I'm just a dude in his apartment. And I think like, if you're going to have that kind of setup, you have to be making 100,000 an episode, right? Regardless. And it's just, that's the way it is. And John Campbell brought that up and I was like, yeah, I actually agree with you, man. Like, you have to have, if you're going to have a huge setup, and spending money and a lot of money, you have to guarantee that kind of pull through. It just has to happen. So anyway, what I'm saying is I kind of understand why it went down, but I also think, like, if let's say they let me here run Collider, I would definitely put myself on, but like besides that, because that's a lame answer. My biggest change would be like I would keep Perry Nemiroff, but I would get people like, why was Drew McWeeny not on Movie Talk? Like I would get that guy on as much as possible. He's like one of the best, if not the best critic we have right now. Amy Nicholson should be on that. They should have Bibbs and Whitney, who do the critically acclaimed. It's basically the critically acclaimed podcast feed, where you have people, Cancel Too Soon, critically acclaimed. They're amazing. They're great. I would also point out that the Slash Film has a daily podcast, which everything that people claim like Collider got woke and went broke and stuff, and was trying to do diversity and all this stuff. I actually think Slash Film is better at having like people who are very educated and know what they're talking about, and also doing things like, having like a little more diversity and talking about bigger issues, and not just talking about like, hey, Martin Scorsese still hates Marvel movies, let's keep talking about it, and things like, even though I did a Scorsese story, but the Joker thing was funny, come on. And so I think they needed more distinct voices, but they need distinct voices that, it's the problem with movie discussions, shows, and all that stuff is it's so hard to get any of them done. But at the same time, like, we need more diverse voices, but that doesn't just mean like getting a person of color or getting a female commentator or something like that. It's getting that, but someone who knows their shit. And I think that's something Collider didn't get both of. I think they needed people who knew their shit and could talk movies in an intelligent way. And I think we need to talk about more of, they need to spice things up. And I think that's why Jeff Snyder worked so well on that show, because he would play the heel to them. He would mess with them. He would stick out, and that really worked. I also think Simon Thompson probably would have been he's a good host on Meet the Movie Press. I think he was on it a little bit. I think that would have worked, but there should have been more diverse voices. But Kenneth Turan's in LA. Why wasn't he on it more? Elvis Mitchell, he's another one. They should have had different kind of voices on to spice things up. And Peter Soretta was on once. He should have been on more often. They should have made it a more interesting movie show, but they needed people on there from more diverse backgrounds who really had something to say other than what they had to say. Because I agree with you, everyone's like they had the same voice. And after Campia left, I've seen the views, and I agree it went down. And Ellis, who I'm not a big Schmoesno fan, but he was good at running a panel, much more than Perry. And maybe once he left, the show kind of took a dive. So I really wish they had tried to spice things up and have a little more arguments, and it seems like they weren't into that. But like, if we're looking at who the most famous movie discussion show was, it was Siskel and Ebert. And why people watched that show originally was that they would argue. So understand that having argue and having heated conversations about movies, it's not lame. It's actually good for people to do weird and funky and strange things. Why do you think people like the Pizza Party podcast? Is because what are they going to say? What are they going to do? They want to listen to it. And with Collider, it's like you could almost guess what they were going to say for certain things. The other Collider show that I really liked and definitely took a dive the past couple months was Collider Mailbag. And it was a great way to find out about other voices in the industry and have them talk and answer questions and talk about their perspective on things. And actually, Collider Mailbag, I will say, until they just let other hosts of Collider on, they used to have like Drew McWeeny was on, or what's his name from Forbes, who is a really good box office guy. He was a really good one, whose name I'm forgetting right now. Maybe Ryan knows that. I'm not sure. I just think that was a show that like I would every weekend look at who they had on Collider Mailbag, because I would get like, oh, that person's on? Oh yeah, I'll totally hear what they have to say. And like, then I've gotten into critics through that. So that was a good show. But it kind of like it got off the podcast feed. It never got the attention it deserved. Anyway, I never really got into Collider Live, but anyway, I do, but I can't really talk about Jedi Council and like the freak out that one of the schmoes had. I thought that was lame. Maybe it was him fighting with the management of Collider, but you don't do that on a live show. That was a little inappropriate. It's like you didn't get to go to Galaxy's Edge. That sucked, but whatever. Anyway. But it's interesting, and there was a comment from one of the second guys at Collider, because right after they fired everyone, I think it was like the next day or the day of, they had that big for your consideration screening for their talk just the one discussion show they have left, which is an Oscar discussion show, where they had a screening with DiCaprio, Tarantino, and Brad Pitt. And, because their For Your Consideration podcast has industry screenings where they have people talk and do these kind of Q&As and stuff. And one of the second guy in command made a comment that we shouldn't, I wonder, it was something basically like maybe Collider should have kept, movie discussions and fart jokes and not done industry professional kind of material. And it was like the day a lot of people lost their jobs, because apparently most people who got fired from Collider got an hour's notice. By the way, the day after they got back from Christmas break. Do you know how many bills you have after Christmas break? Like, that sucks. You're like, oh man, I can't wait to pay off this credit card bill. Oh no, my life is over now. Like, that was awful. They had an hour's notice, and then this guy tweets out that I really don't. I actually did unsubscribe, which is more dramatic than I usually do. But anyway, Collider was Movie Talk was kind of historically a big movie discussion show. It kind of helped launch this thing, even what this show occupies, and I should have respect for it just for that. But I just wanted to say, we need more interesting movie discussion, and it needs to happen. And there's a reason, I keep going back to the same people. I haven't checked out the Screen Junkies thing. To be honest, most of the time I'd listen to them is just to keep up with movie news while I'm doing other things. Whereas Slash Film Daily, I'd say if you're looking for an alternative, do that one. That's the best one. I think they do a good job. Chris Evangelista helps out with that. Tran Bowie, Peter Soretta, a lot of other people I forget. That's a good podcast. Check that one out. Obviously this one. But what? There's this one Collider dude who doesn't like Spider-Verse because it was animated and preferred it to be Spider-Verse Into the Spider-Verse. It would have been really? That's a dumb take. Anyway, I have listened to Movie Signs with the Mads. Filmhouse I haven't. That's funny. Anyway, I might check out the Screen Junkies thing. The Red Letter Media Nerd Crew thing, I'm like, that's kind of funny, but it sucks when I was like, I prefer just like a discussion where you talk about stuff. It's like, that's like a one-note joke they keep doing. It's fine, but I get a little sick of it. Although I did like when people edited it with the Schmoes No Guy freak out. I thought that was really funny. All right, sorry. Cheers. All right, let's move on. I'm sorry that was a little long. I do get kind of I don't know, when movie stuff dies, I get a little sad. Even if Entertainment Tonight died, I'd probably do like 20 minutes on it or something. So Kevin Smith, through an Instagram post, talked about how great his 2019 was, and he's gonna have 2020 is gonna be even better. And he's talked about how he's working on the script for Clerks 3 and specifically Mallrats 2, The Twilight of the Mallrats. I'm not sure how close any of this is to happening, but it seems like he's still acting like he's going to be making Mallrats 2 and Clerks 3. Jim, you need someone to work off of on your show. Anyway, yeah, probably, but Anyway, so Kevin Smith is he's working on the scripts of those things. We've been hearing about that for a while. I don't really think we need a Clerks 3. I didn't like Clerks 2, and I don't really get Mallrats 2, but I actually think if he could work out a streaming service deal, it would be best for him, because I don't know as many people who saw the Jay and Silent Bob thing, and I don't know. I'm not as into his stuff currently, so whatever. I'm just like, I don't think he's really bringing it the way he used to. All right. We have a few more things, and then it's Infinity Train time. So, yeah. All right. So, Parasite has a black and white version. Before you go, oh man, the same thing as Fury Road and Logan, that's really lame. Bong Joon-ho has been doing this actually for longer than Fury Road did. Although Fury Road had an actual reason they were doing it, and this guy seems just like they did it like most people do for the score to be done with it, and they preferred it just by chance of watching it. But he actually goes back and changes it. Clerks 2, A Quiet Place 2. He actually goes back and changes it, and he did it with his 2013 film Mother, and he actually only released it. It was only released at a film festival, and then it was on a very rare, hard to find disc in South Korea. But he's apparently going to do that again in the Rotterdam Film Festival with a Parasite black and white version, and no home video release is planned right now. But it was interesting to learn he's been doing this for a while with his other films, and he wanted to do it with Parasite. People are saying because Parasite was such a big hit, it'll probably get a better release. We'll see about that. But as for right now, it's just like he's doing that again, and it seems like he's doing the similar release pattern. I sort of remember hearing about a black and white Snowpiercer, but I couldn't. People just brought up Mother, so I'm not sure if that is a real thing. So I mentioned a Collider screening of Once Upon a Time in Mexico during my Collider thing. And during that, Quentin Tarantino said that there's a 4-hour cut of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We have previously heard that they might release that footage as like a TV show kind of thing, much like what he did with the TV cut, kind of TV miniseries cut of Hateful Eight. And he just said it'll happen probably in a year after this awards thing is over. So we'll see about that. Oh, hold on. Would highly recommend Breakfast All Day. I know Breakfast All Day. It's really good. If you aren't watching them, consists of critics from What the Flick. Their content has been consistent yet insightful. Thank you very much for the super chat, Will. Cheers to you. I do listen to Breakfast All Day, and I'm sorry I didn't mention it. Thank you for reminding me. They deserve a lot of credit. That is a good podcast. I mainly listen to the segment parts in when I want to check a review out, but I have listened to a few episodes. But they are good. You're right. Thank you for saying something. They are definitely one of I would actually say get them on Movie Talk. That would be more interesting in my mind. Anyway, but they're just kind of doing, hey, Ace the Wind Riders here. They're just sort of doing it off of in someone's house as well, so I can relate. But anyway, so about this 4-hour cut, thank you again for the support. Oh, your Facebook friend. I think I saw that. Anyway, sorry, Ryan. Alfonso Giraldi is cool. And again, should have been on Collider Movie Talk. There's a lot of... Christy Lumiere would be a great host. I'm just... Man, they should have just had better people. And I could have just cast it. If they just, I would have put myself, obviously. But I would have done more. Pan would have been there. Probably not. But I would have asked him anyway. Izzy. It would have been cool. Also, their animation podcast is real bad. Anyway. So... the 4-hour cut apparently will come out. Also, I learned through this article, apparently, so we've always been heard about the Kill Bill, the Whole Bloody Affair. Apparently, he plays it only at the New Beverly. So it does exist. Like, please release that on Netflix. I've been wanting to see the Whole Bloody Affair with, like, all these alternate scenes that were in trailers and stuff. I've been wanting to see that for, like, since 2003. So, like, I don't understand why he's not releasing it, but maybe it's, like, a Weinstein thing, and I don't know. Oh, Alfonso's been on... I think I knew that, but he should still be on... He should have been on more, is what I'm saying. So apparently Sam Raimi is developing a new Evil Dead. He was talking about Fede Alvarez, but that doesn't seem to, he's not sure if that'll work. And Bruce Campbell's sort of retired and he has to get him out of retirement. And we're kind of been all this stuff. So I think, I don't know. I'm not sure if this is going to happen. He's always talking about a new Evil Dead, but he talked about it for years when he was making the Spider-Man movies, and then he eventually made the remake, and he did make a TV show. So I kind of believe it could happen, but we'll see. But he's at least been talking about it. Before we get on to the Infinity Train thing, this is my last little thing. So Disney had a record-breaking box office year with $13 billion. $13 billion. It used to be $10 billion before, which is the first studio to ever do that in a year, and they crossed all the way to 13 in this year. I don't need to tell you all the movies that crossed $1 billion because you probably know most of them. Apparently, Spider-Man Far From Home does not count in that, which if it did, there'd be even more. And I think those are not even the Fox movies, which would push it even further. Here's the thing about this Disney gross, and everyone's like, Disney controls entertainment. They do, but they're not going to have another year like this. Because this year, I'm a little surprised they didn't push things off to the following year or like spread it out a little. Because having like the ending of Star Wars and, in Endgame and, having Lion King and Aladdin and like all like Toy Story 4, like everything they had this year, just like they're not going to be able to do that. They're definitely not doing it next year, and they're not going to be doing it the year after. And just having all these huge franchises hit at the same time, it just kind of. Oh, see you later, Nijikichu. Thank you for showing up. Enjoy doing your laundry. You're never really gonna be able to do all those franchises at once. Like it's nearly impossible. So I don't really think that'll happen again. But it's just something that definitely happened this year, and it was probably, people are saying it might have been the biggest box office take that'll ever happen since movie theater attendance is changing, all that stuff. We'll see. I don't want to like call it just yet, frankly, but it was a pretty insane year. I don't know anything's happened. I meant 2019, if you're wondering. All right, so let's talk about the Infinity Train documentaries. I'm gonna have some water. I'm going to rank all of them because, all right, so in honor of Infinity Train Book 2, which is coming out Monday, and I'm very excited for it, I was going to rank all the train documentaries, which I reviewed all of on this show, except for 2 that I didn't, and then reviewed later, but whatever. But I have reviewed all of them, so if you want to check those out, there's like a playlist and all that stuff of all my Infinity Train stuff. I will review Infinity Train Book 2 later, but I thought I would actually rank them, which I never do, but I thought I'll do it this time, and I'll rank them. There's 10 of them, so it's a pretty easy ranking list there, and we'll go from there. So, this is my ranking, I guess. I don't know if it's the coolest ranking. I think some of the things I thought originally the numbers would mean something. They don't. There were a lot of hints in these about the deer that's clearly in Infinity Train Book 2. I'm not really ranking them on that. I'm ranking them on the actual content of the short. I actually rewatched all the train documentaries in a row to talk about it. No, I'm not, Austin, I'm not going to talk about Mandalorian tonight just because I have too many segments and news things, but I am going to have a review of that out hopefully soon, hopefully this week, I think. So sorry about that. But there will be one coming out. Anyway, so I think the first episode of Book 2 might be on the app, but I haven't watched it because I'm waiting. Sorry, I itched myself. That was gross. Anyway, so I'm going to count down and rank the Infinity Train documentaries. So if you ever wanted to watch some of them, my top ones would be the ones you should watch, I guess, if you needed to do that. So the first one is the Minecraft car. The 10th one. The last one. All right, we're going from 10 to 1. I don't know why I said the first one. So, there's another super chat from Will. Think tonight's appropriate to pay respects to Sam Raimi's long-lost World War III project. That movie sounds so metal. I should have looked that up. Yeah, I should have looked that up, but I had too much to do this week. Maybe next time. Maybe if World War III is imminent, then I definitely will talk about that movie, maybe. I should. Maybe in a future movie crap. But thank you for the super chat, Will. And yes, I'm terrified of World War III, but I'm older, so I think, I don't know, I'm just hoping I'm hoping it doesn't happen, and I hope I don't have to go to war. That sounds terrifying. Saturday night. Sorry, was that stupid? Probably. All right, so the Minecraft car, I had a 10 as the worst one. I think it did have a lot of fun stuff with tulip references. There was kind of a Easter egg there and all that stuff, but it felt like the cheapest one. They had that rat guy coming in at the end. It just rewatching it, it definitely felt like the least essential and the most like, hey, we made, like the last 2 are actually the lowest on my list. And I think it just like the last 2, it felt like they were sort of running out of ideas and running out of budget, and they're just like really, really trying to get it to work, and it like honestly didn't. So I thought that was like, just trying to have funny concepts. And one of the things I think about all of these is, Infinity Train, each train has this crazy imaginative world, and the ones that really got into that I thought were great, and I think that's how this concept works the best. I mean, you're not getting into the sci-fi crazy world thing with these. You're just showing off a different car in each one, and you should really be showing off the infinite possibilities and not, the mine cart car, like just going through a mine and not like walking through a mine. Just felt really boring. I just didn't think it was very good. I thought it was the worst one. Anyway, at number 9, we have the wedding cake car, which was released at the same time as the minecart car. I sort of like the concept of the whole thing with the kind of throwing the bouquet thing I thought was funny, but ultimately it again felt a little cheap. It's just 1-1 on a cake and just nothing really to it, and it's it's fine. I think one of the things about this is having 1-1 explain the car and things like that, and and the more 1-1 does with it, the more interesting they would be. And this one just felt like a real simple kind of idea. It again felt like they were sort of running out of money and ideas. Number 8 is the tech support car, which would actually be called the beachside car because it was in the first book of Infinity Train. It has Randall in it and the donut holder. It was the first time to really show that they were going to show cars they had already been to. I was fine with that when I watched it. I probably liked it more, but watching in the context of all of them, I put it at number 8. I don't think it has enough to do. It's just kind of showing off Randall, who, we've already seen. So it was fine. I generally, by the way, like all of these, despite of how I'm ranking them. But I did feel like, it references things. That's kind of all it does, and it's out. But that's kind of why I put it there. The number 7, I put the green car, which is the very first one. I thought it was it's a good intro. It kind of sets everything up. You get the first clue about book 2 with the deer kind of whole thing, and the purple guy whose name is Mr. Green or whatever. That was kind of fun and funny. I actually quite like it, but I feel like another one did what it did better, which I'll get to in a little bit. And yeah, I don't know, but anyway, I just didn't. I like it, but I think it kind of got outdid. But I think it was a good way to set up everything. So number 6, the Cross-Eyed Ducks car. This one was fun, and I think it does a concept that a lot of them do, where they kind of joke that they kind of miss the point of the car and say, look at this thing instead of the thing that's obvious. But this one worked better because the Cross-Eyed Ducks were covering everything. This was in the original book 1. And they'd say, oh, look at the amazing monorail. And, you had the fountain and all this stuff. It was a funny concept, and the Cross-Eyed Ducks are kind of funny. And I quite liked it. It kind of goes into any weird thing can happen in this, and even though it's going to a car we've already been to, I thought it was kind of a fun, weird concept to do with that car, rather than just showing... I mean, they did just show a bunch of ducks, but they at least had fun with just showing a bunch of cross-eyed ducks in a car. Number 5 is the hill car. Now, this I thought was very similar to the green car in that it's kind of setting up like, here's what we do with these train documentaries, and one's talking all this stuff, and it's kind of sort of boring, and then an eagle picks them up and flies 1-1 around and drops him. That's really funny. And I like that the camera started fritzing out and all this. It's kind of it's a good concept, and they have a lot of fun with it. And then you get the talking hill and the broken door, which kind of hints at something else. I'm sort of wondering just now, is this taking place at the same time as book 2 because of that broken door? I wonder if that broken door is an Easter egg, or we'll see that in book 2. We'll see. Number 4, the snow car. Now, I really liked, this is probably my favorite one that was in, it is definitely my favorite one that was in book 1. I like that it kind of just sets up this thing. One's just showing off the snow car. Then he falls into some ice, gets a cold, kind of goes into seeing like the snowmen from book 1, all that stuff, sees like his snack pile. There's a lot to it. I think it's probably one of the more denser storytelling ones, and I thought they did a good job. I kind of wish they did more of these, but it was my number 4, so I guess it wasn't my favorite. But I still quite like that. Number 3 is the Kaiju car, which they call the Inexplicable Earthquake car. This is probably the best one that does the misunderstanding, like, why it's the Inexplicable Earthquake car. It's not, it's not missing the, kind of missing the point of the car kind of joke. It's fine, but I love the design of the Kaiju fighting. I love the house coming in. I thought they had a lot of fun with the animation and the possibilities, which is like, I want to see like Dinosaur Baseball from Infinity Train. I want to see that stuff. I want to see crazy worlds. And this definitely gave me that, like a kaiju who looks like a blue meanie and a Rodan kind of creature. Like it was all sorts of nonsense going on. And I thought they did a really, Kaiju car is definitely one of the best. Number 2, I should say that this is my ranking of the Infinity Train documentaries. And of course, you're probably going to have an issue with that. And of course, this one probably was very close to being number 1. But number 2 is the movie theater car. It's actually a really great concept. And the idea of just doing one single shot on a movie theater, and that movie theater eventually is haunted and is going to eat 1-1 after you see the Let's All Go to the Lobby characters. It did a lot of fun things with movie iconography. The joke about one of the first movies had a train coming at people, and they were so shocked by this they got on the train and they basically got on that train and ended up not going to coding camp and all. It was fun. They had a lot of fun with that one. I thought that one used the concept well. It was I think it felt like one of the more shorter ones, and they had a lot of fun with that. And then, all right. And then, so number one, I think if you watched these reviews, it's pretty obvious because I brought it up a lot. But my favorite, and I think the best, train documentary was The Tiny Wizard Car. It was the weirdest one. It had wizards saying spells, 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 spells. It had the least one, which I kind of... at first, I liked that more, but as I watched all these in a row, I was less annoyed by certain things that I was annoyed by when I watched them in a row. But this just got into like the craziness and the odd possibilities you could do with Infinity Train. And I think this is very much a post-Adventure Time kind of one, and this is the most of that. But I thought it was the most weird, it was the most strange, it was the most like, let's go into this weird world that didn't make any sense. It was just definitely the one that opened up the stranger possibilities of Infinity Train, and that's what I really liked about it. I like the train documentaries. I think they're really great. If you're a fan of Infinity Train, check them out. Let me know what your favorite Infinity Train documentary is in the chat or in the comments later, because this will be a video later, obviously. And I'm very excited for Infinity Train Book 2. I'm definitely going to do a review of that. And if there are more train documentaries, I'll review those. But as for the first 10, this is how at least I would rank them. And I think it's probably the most definitive ranking ever. So yeah. Anyway, well, maybe not, but in train documentaries, I guess it is. All right, so let's talk about the most anticipated movies of 2020. Yay, right? That's probably why you're here, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so there's a lot of... I want to first say Will, who has been in the chat throughout the show, helped with this episode, with this list. I'm going to tweet out his tweet, or retweet his tweet that kind of... I was like, oh, I should talk to Will, because he seems to know what's going on. So if you want to check out his Twitter, I just retweeted it on Twitter. I wanted to do it so it's like, if you're watching this later, it's between the movie crap is going to happen at 10:30 and other stuff, and then it's like between movie crap is live and thank you for coming to the show tweets, if you're looking for it in my Twitter later. But he helped me out a lot with this. I didn't put everything he suggested, well, he had a list. I don't think he expected me to put everything, but he was very much a help, so he deserves some co-writing on this segment. But basically how this is going to work, I'm going to do sort of a more than a top 10. I'm going to list off stuff that I definitely am anticipating, and then I'm going to do things that are notable, things I'm excited for, and then more of a top sort of thing that I'm actually anticipating. Understand that anticipation doesn't mean these are going to be the best movies. Also, the Sundance Film Festival hasn't happened, so there's going to be a lot of stuff I barely know about. Oh, you're excited for Dr. Dolittle from Shane Powers. Thank you for the super chat. That was going to be on here, so I don't need to say it now. But yes, I am very much excited for Dr. Dolittle. I think that'll be maybe not for the right reason, but I'm excited for it. I'm definitely going to review it. That was going to be on here. So anyway, so I'll list off movies that are kind of notable that I have some interest in. But understand if this is not your most anticipated, but put that either in the comments below or in the chat if you are here live. What your most anticipated movie is, because I'm curious. Anyway, so I'm just going to list down these. First off, I probably am going to see Bad Boys 3 just because it seems kind of dumb, but why not? I don't know. Downhill, which is a Force Majeure remake. I've actually not seen Force Majeure. I need to do that with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Will Ferrell. Seems very odd to me, but that's coming out soon. I didn't see the trailer, and I think I've heard about the trailer. The Platform, which I actually heard Collider Movie Talk about, and I thought was pretty cool. It seemed like a cool concept of like food goes up to the very top, and whatever those people don't eat goes to the second tier and so forth. It sounded a little like very obvious class statement, but it sounded interesting. Quiet Place 2, which I talked about, sounds kind of cool. I forget what The Boys from Country Hell was, but it's on here. Stargirl. I have not seen Fast Color yet. I'm going to, Will, don't worry. But it sounds interesting. It's coming out in March on Disney+. I'm sort of interested. I think it's more of a YA thing than a girl who is a superhero who controls stars. Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which is sort of already out, but a lot of people are considering a 2020 film. Gretel and Hansel. I don't know if it's A24, but it sort of feels that way. I'm a little interested. I'm not sure. The French Dispatch, which is a new Wes Anderson movie. The Devil All the Time, which I believe was with Andrew Garfield and several other people, which sounded interesting. Nobody, which is kind of a thriller with Bob Odenkirk, which also sounded pretty interesting. Antlers, which everyone seems to be interested in. Tenet, which is the new Nolan thing, which I'm not as big of a Nolan fan as everyone else. We're probably getting Venom 2 this year. Halloween Kills, Godzilla vs. King Kong, Mulan, Free Guy, which more people are into than I am. I know it's a Sean Levy thing. It seems kind of interesting. I'm curious if it's going to be as big of a hit as everyone acts like it is. Ghostbusters, which I want to see a bigger trailer for, but I'm a little more anticipating than I thought I would. There's a Bob's Burgers, the movie, which we've seen nothing from. Jungle Cruise, which is actually the director of Shallows. And he used to do a lot of the Liam Neeson kind of action stuff, and he's kind of an interesting director in that he can make kind of like B stuff very well. So I'm a little curious seeing him do like kind of a big action movie, like with The Rock, like a big blockbuster thing. I'm curious what that will be. I don't have the best feeling. Candyman, produced by Jordan Peele. I'm going to do it. This is just me running through stuff. In the Heights, the Lin-Manuel Miranda musical is one before Hamilton. Coming to the big screen, I'm sort of interested. Top Gun Maverick, I think will be a bigger hit than people realize because Top Gun 2 is something people have been waiting for a very long time. I think you're going to get a lot of people coming to the theater who do not normally go to the theater, and so it'll probably overperform. I didn't know there was a Legally Blonde 3. Like, that's really happening. I was really surprised by that. Antebellum is, I like the trailer for. I'm interested. And there's going to be a Minions 2 this year, guys. So get ready. I thought I could go through Sophie's whole childhood without any more Minions, but I think my time is running out. So, water. Let me go through movies I'm much more anticipating. These are The Prisoners of Ghostland. Anyway, these are the movies I'm really more anticipating. If you're wondering, hey, what about this thing? So, wait till I get to the end, but you feel free to say in the chat what you want to. But if you didn't hear something, oh, that's true. Trolls World Tour. I forgot about Trolls World Tour. I'm actually, you know what's funny? I actually sort of like that trailer. I like what it's saying about gatekeeping and rock, and I'm a little like, damn it, I'm probably going to take Sophie to this. I'm going to look like a total hypocrite because they called it fascist before. So I'm kind of thinking of literally actually seeing Trolls 2 with Sophie. Anyway, life's changed, man. I don't know what to tell you. All right, so is Snake Eyes this year? I didn't think it was this year. Maybe I missed that one. Anyway, all right, so don't worry if you think I missed something. So here are the kind of runners-up in terms of what I want to do. Obviously, Infinity Train Book 2, but that's not a movie. And you could make this distinction that Primal Season 1 is a movie because it did play in theaters for a week and actually showed in movies longer than Twin Peaks The Return. So you probably make a more case that it's a movie than Twin Peaks The Return. And maybe some critics, I don't know who, maybe will put it in their top 10 list possibly, which will probably be me. I'm just saying. But anyway, if Season 2 does come out this year, it is definitely one of my most anticipated. Other things. There's a new Rebecca from Ben Wheatley. I think that sounds cool. My wife's a big fan of Rebecca. The movie, the Hitchcock movie, I think is really great. You should see the Hitchcock movie. It's a wonderful movie. Curious what he'll do with it. I kind of don't think he's going to do better than Hitchcock, which is the only Hitchcock to win Best Picture, but he didn't win Best Director. But I will still watch it since it's on Netflix. I think that'll be a good watch for Netflix because that's kind of a really great story. Glenn Keane, an animation legend, is doing his feature directorial debut with Over the Moon. That is going to be on Netflix as well. That I'm very interested in. As soon as that drops, we learn anything about. Charm City Kings, which is a crime drama set in Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore. I love The Wire. I love anything set in Baltimore I'm going to see. regardless if it's good or not. So I'm excited for that. I didn't know about that before I went through stuff for this list. The Kingsman, which is the Kingsman 3 or whatever. I think it's the Kingsman. Anyway, the new Kingsman movie. It's an interesting idea for a sequel. I am kind of looking forward to that. I hope 2 kind of turned me off a lot, but I'm hoping this kind of like gives this franchise new life, because I really liked 1. It made my top 10 list that year. There's an untitled Purge sequel. I'm a huge fan of the Purge movies. I actually never see them twice, except for the second one I've seen twice, but no more than that. But I will see any Purge movie. I love the Purge movies. I think they're great. I didn't see the show, but anyway. Next up, Wolfwalkers, which is the new film from Cartoon Saloon. I think looks really great. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it I like Cartoon Saloon. It's a new film from Tom Moore. You can't go wrong with Tom Moore. Ever. He's amazing. The Adventures of Drunky, which is, I believe, the feature debut of Augenblick. That sounds really cool. Another animated film, Crypto Zoo. Now, I never heard of this, and this is Will let me know about this. I'm going to read this description because it sounds crazy. A zoo that rescues mythical creatures in psychedelic 1960s San Francisco races the U.S. military to find and save a Baku, a Japanese dream-eating cryptid, I guess, to prevent the military from using the Baku to eat the dreams of the counterculture and to suppress the anti-Vietnam War movement. A hand-drawn feature animated film. That sounds amazing. I definitely want to see that. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are producing a film called The Mitchells vs. the Machines, which I don't know very much about. It's apparently a family's on vacation and they have to fight these robots. It's by newer directors, one of which was a director on Gravity Falls. Sounds very promising. Those Who Wish Me Dead, I forgot who that was now. Oh, well. Anyway, I put it on here. There's too many movies to remember everything about. VFW, which I'd never heard of, done by the guy who previously did Almost Human. It's basically, Will in the thing he sent me said Green Book 2, and I was like, I do like Green Book. What's that? And it's basically like these kids with drugs come into this place, and these older veterans kind of fight them off, which I think I think sounds really cool. A lot of people have brought up a Miyazaki film, but there's no date on that, and since he said he's working on it very slowly, I'm not anticipating that in 2020. Bloodshot, the first Valiant movie with Vin Diesel. I'm curious. I used to read Valiant comics. It seems like a dumb Vin Diesel movie. I'm down. I don't know. There's a Macbeth, directed by Joel Cohen, not of the Coen brothers, not with Ethan Coen, all by himself, and it stars Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand. I believe that's coming out this year. If it does, I'm very curious what the hell this is. Denzel's never worked with the Coen brothers. Him and Frances McDormand in a movie is something I'm anticipating, but I'm really curious what a movie with only one of the Coen brothers would be like. I'm sort of not excited because I don't want them to break up, but if this is like the only one weird thing, I think that would be cool. I said Green Book instead of Green Room. Damn it. Well, yeah, I meant Green Book. No, I didn't mean Green Book. That's funny. All right. Almost to the actual top 10. Sorry. And Spike Lee has a new movie called The Five Bloods. Anthony Mackie's in it. It's going to be on Netflix. That sounds really cool. All right. So here are, in all actuality, my actual top movies of the year. This will be... there's 16 movies. I could have done... I tried to do 10... But I'm anticipating, oh, that's who did Crypto Zoo? That I didn't get to see my entire high school sinking into the sea, but that sort of makes sense based on the art style. I should have seen that at some point. Anyway, so I want to preface that thinking I'm a total mainstream Hollywood sellout for anticipating big movies. That's sort of how these movies are built and grown, and a lot of the smaller movies, again, that we will get from Sundance soon, I don't know about. This might change after that, but this is at the beginning of the year before that. But these are the ones I'm most anticipating. It's also because I know more about these and very few of them are ones that I know very little about. I almost didn't put movies I knew very little about, but there are a couple that are just too enticing for me not to. So that's what I did. So anyway, these are, of all the movies coming out this year, what I'm anticipating the most at the beginning of January. These are ones that I definitely want to review, and I'm very excited for. That's not to say that this will probably change, but these are the ones that I would look out for and things that I'm excited to go see. So anyway, the 16th is Weathering with You. It's the follow-up to, it's not the, well, I guess it's the director of, it's the follow-up from the director of Your Name. I saw the trailer. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it looks interesting. I know it's coming out soon for Fathom Events things. I don't know if I'm going to get to go to any of those. But I really would like to see it. It seems really interesting and odd. I really wanted to see Your Name. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it seems interesting. It seems like an odd, weird, sophomore debut, and I'm sort of down for that, so I'm excited for that. Number 15, Raya and the Last Dragon. I know very little about this. It's an original Disney animated film. I know Awkwafina's in it. It's a fantasy film. Seems sort of odd and interesting to me, at least right now. Once I've seen the trailer, maybe that'll change my mind. But I think that sounds pretty cool to me. At 14, sorry, a lot of ranking this time. Promising Young Woman with Carey Mulligan. It sounds like a really cool concept, the idea of this woman going out to bars, finding the nice guy who will take her home drunk, who then try to take advantage of her, and then kind of confronting them. I thought it's a really cool idea in the Me Too era. I love the concept alone. I really like the trailer. It just seems like a cool movie concept to me. And I'm sort of glad. Is it Ran? That's a joke. I think that's a joke, Ran. It just. I should say Sonic, but I'm not that excited for Sonic. But A Promising Young Woman just sounds like a cool concept, and I like the kind of joke of the trailer. I thought that was cool. Number 13, I have to put this on there because my dad's a huge Dune fan. I'm excited for Dune. I'm a little worried because it just seems like when they released the Lynch one, they had to put out books that kind of told you what to be prepared for and what you knew in Dune to explain it. So I don't know how. I know this is cut up in 2 parts. I know Denis Villeneuve is definitely up for that challenge, but it's quite a big one, and I'm curious. But sorry, Ryan. I don't. There's so many of these movies that I did get scared a little. But anyway, I do think he's up for the challenge. I do think he could really do a good job with Dune. But I don't know. I could definitely see this falling apart. But I'm still anticipating what the hell's going to happen to it. Number 12, I have The Invisible Man. I like how they've done a twist on The Invisible Man. The idea that he's stalking his girlfriend, former girlfriend, I guess, or current girlfriend, whatever, Elizabeth Moss. And that it's kind of driving her insane. Seems like a great idea for a horror film. It's Blumhouse's first film with the Universal monsters. I think that would be, a really good way to take that. And I think Blumhouse knows what to do with the Universal monsters, and they're really great with horror. And it just seems like a really cool concept. And I like Elizabeth Moss, and it just seems like, much like, I think this and Promising Young Woman are kind of the kind of big Me Too movies this year, but I think this one, in terms of what it's saying with horror and taking a horror concept and playing with it, I think it just excites me so much. Number 11, No Time to Die. I'm a Bond fan. I've seen every James Bond movie. This one, I sort of feel like Daniel Craig's been doing it too long, and this movie should have been made a while ago. But the good news is Bond kind of works in this way where if a Bond movie stinks really bad and audiences didn't like it that much, the Bond producers overreact and make a really good Bond movie. And I think that's probably what they're going to do. I know they said they have Cary Fukunaga, who I'm excited for what he's going to do with it. The trailer looked really cool. I like, the Bond girls they have. I like the idea of the continuity. Everything like that is playing very much like a Bond of a modern era, which is like what they do here. But I'm curious. I'm curious what this is going to be. Also, this coming out in April. But I hope it's good because I like Daniel Craig has given us 2 classic Bond films, Casino Royale and Skyfall. Casino Royale and Skyfall. I think if I was going to make a Bond top 10, the only one who I'd put 3 of his Bond movies in there would be Connery, which was with his first three. It'd be cool if I think Craig could tie that, because I think Moore only really made two, and that's because I'm being generous. But I think Craig's good enough to do that. We'll see if Cary Fukunaga does that. But I have a good feeling about this one. I just kind of think it'll be the mid of that franchise, probably. So that's kind of why I'm putting it so low. But I'm still anticipating that. All right, number 10, right? Yes, number 10, most anticipated, is Wendy. It's a take on Peter Pan. It's directed by the director of Beasts of a Southern Wild. I have wanted to see what's happened to this director for a long time. I'm surprised it's taking this long for his follow-up to come out. It seems like a really interesting take on Peter Pan, particularly from Wendy's perspective, because it's always like Peter's perspective on Wendy. It's a good reversal. It's good to show what I think it's good to show the franchise in a different, or I guess this IP or whatever, in a different light. And it looks kind of that imaginative, crazy, kind of dirty, southern, weird world that Beasts of Southern Wild was doing, and taking, doing something new with it. And I like his Ben Zitillin. I like what he did with it. He used to be like the cautionary tale of being nominated for Best Director on your directorial debut. But I think the trailer looked really great, and I'm really excited for it. It reminds me kind of in the early 2010s and 2009 and stuff. There are all these kind of hipstery kids films, and I thought they were actually really cool, like Where the Wild Things Are and Fantastic Mr. Fox and things. And I feel like, oh yeah, I saw am I freezing up a lot? I was for a little bit. I'm sorry about that. It felt like this is kind of a follow-up to that, kind of continuing that style, and I like that style. So, number 9, I have a tie. And it's mostly because I hope you guys like all this ranking. I hope it's not too much. I apologize if it is too much. I don't think I'll ever do this much ranking again. Number 9, I have a tie between Scoob and the new SpongeBob movie. The reason I did this is because they're coming out a week apart, and why not? I've seen less of the SpongeBob movie. I'm excited for the third, whatever it's called, the third SpongeBob movie than I have Scoob. Scoob, I like the idea and the concept. I'm a little worried it's trying to do the Hanna-Barbera universe too quickly, but I love the design, I love the style. Sophie wants to see it, so I'm excited to go see it with her. The SpongeBob movie I haven't seen enough for, but it feels like it's going to go back more to the roots of SpongeBob and not do what the second one did. So I'm excited for that. It probably would go lower, but these are in tandem, and I'm at least curious. Maybe it should be lower, but I put it there. Sonic's not going to be on here because I'm not really anticipating Sonic. I'm more like I'm not excited for Sonic, but I am going to review Sonic. It's more because of the trailer and less because I love Sonic the Hedgehog. That movie doesn't look great. I mean, let's be honest. Okay. Number 8, Bill and Ted Face the Music. I'm a big Bill and Ted fan. I even hosted a screening for Bill and Ted in Baltimore back in 2011, I think. I love Bill and Ted. I need to re-review both of those to get ready for Bill and Ted Face the Music. I love Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. It's a movie I'm very much anticipating. I like that franchise. I grew up with that franchise. It's just a movie I can't wait to see. And it seems like the perfect time for it with Keanu's comeback and all that stuff. So I really want to see it. Sorry. Number 7, Fast and Furious 9. I don't really know the title for it. I know John Cena's in it, whatever. Justin Lin is back. He's the guy who made Fast and Furious. And I think he is the one who made Fast 5 and turned the franchise around and everything like that. So I think this is a long show, I'm sorry. So I think I'm anticipating that one quite a bit. I don't know. I think Cardi B's in it, all that stuff. But Justin Lin gave us the best, made the Fast and Furious what it is, made it the huge $1 billion franchise. So I think him coming back is a nice sign, and I'm curious what he's going to do with it. Okay. Next up, number 6 is Edgar Wright's film Last Night in Soho. I'm always excited for a Edgar Wright movie. I think Edgar Wright, any film he has coming out looks cool. A Mystery in London sounds like a really cool idea for me. I like his English movies way more than his American films. So I think this will be a welcome return, and especially with the success of Baby Driver. I hope he has another big success, and I hope Last Night in Soho does that. Number 5. I will put this. I put this in here mostly because my wife and my daughter want to see it, and that's exciting. And I like the trailer. Okay, but I resaw the trailer when I saw Little Women, and it kind of reinvigorated it. And I would say that's Wonder Woman 1984. Looks like a fun film. I'm very curious how they're going to get all those plot lines to work. I'm a little worried they won't, but I have faith in Patty Jenkins, and I say that as my fourth most anticipated movie. Or fifth. Number 4, I'm Thinking of Ending Things from Charlie Kaufman. I love Charlie Kaufman. I love all the movies he's directed, all 2 of them, Schenectady, New York, and Anomalisa, and I'm really curious about what this is going to be. It's going to be on Netflix. We don't have a release date, but I think it'll be really cool. It's with Jesse Plemons, and he deserves a great role, but he always does a great job in with his movies, and I don't know what to expect. Apparently about him meeting people's parents and like this girl's parents and like things falling apart. I don't know. Sounds cool. Number 3, Mank. This is about Mankiewicz, the Mankiewicz who wrote Citizen Kane and his story. It's going to be shot in black and white, and it's directed by David Fincher. I don't really need to say more, but that sounds amazing. As a film history nut and someone who likes Citizen Kane, I'm just super excited for this. It sounds amazing. I'm excited for David Fincher to direct a movie again. It is also going to be on Netflix. It just, the whole idea excites me. It just sounds amazing. All right, so number 1 and number 2 were tough, but number 2, if it does indeed come out this year, and we're going to get a trailer this week, and apparently Marvel is letting it be back to what they wanted originally, and that is New Mutants. Obviously, I showed you the comic earlier in the show. I really want to see New Mutants. It sounds like a really, really cool movie. I'm very much excited for New Mutants. It's a comic I grew up on. It's the run of the comic I love the most. I like the idea of doing a superhero team with a horror movie. I'm so excited for this. I didn't even see the director's other movie. It's just that I love New Mutants. I'm super excited for that. All right, so number 1, most anticipated, and it shouldn't be surprising since I've not mentioned it, is Soul, directed by Pete Docter. I love Pete Docter. He's probably one of my favorite directors working today. He's probably my favorite Pixar director, and I just think that sounds like such a promising movie to me. It has music by Trent Reznor and the guy from John Bautista from Stephen Colbert's show, who's a really talented jazz musician, is doing the jazz music, but Trent Reznor doing a Pixar film sounds insanely interesting to me, and so those are my most anticipated movies of 2020. Now, if you're like, hey, where are the Marvel movies? Honestly, like, I'm gonna see them. They don't sound that exciting right now to me. They're not really my most anticipated. I'm sure Black Widow will be good, and same with Eternals. It's just they haven't really grabbed me the way these are. So being honest, I'm gonna see them. I have nothing against Black Widow. She's just not my character or anything like that. But anyway, that's why I didn't mention those. And Birds of Prey and all that. I'm gonna see the comic book stuff, but nothing's really grabbed me the way those movies have. So anyway, that's those are my most anticipated movies of 2020. I think that'll be a review, a separate video later, but we'll see. But yeah, we'll see how I actually feel about those movies when I actually review them. All right. I know some people don't like Pete Docter. I've noticed that seems to be a thing. I don't really get it, but whatever. All right. I'm sorry this show's gone so long. I sort of anticipated that because I tried to do too many things. So apologies for that, everyone. All right. So let's do some questions. I'm going to do some Patreon ones. 2 from Sinram. 1 is a fun fact, which is epic and amazing. Another is a question to intro something else. But I know there's not a super chat, but I just need the Red Bull to get through the end of this. So here we go. I know people think Inside Out is overrated. I do not share that opinion, but whatever. All right, so this is a fun fact from Sinram, and it is a good one. You should check out Sinram's YouTube channel. He was in the chat earlier. I don't know what happened to him. Is Henry Selick's Wendell and Wild coming out this year? I didn't hear. It wasn't in the Netflix Twitter thing, so I don't think it is. But is it? I didn't see it in there. Maybe it was. Anyway. All right, so let me do the Patreon questions, then I will get to the chat. So just don't type yet. Anyway, so here's a fun fact. Is a good fun fact from Sinram. In the 1993 film 6 Degrees of Separation, Will Smith plays a young con artist who tricks wealthy New York families into letting him stay in their homes. Part of his con is to tell them he is the son of Sidney Poitier, who he is visiting while his father pitches movie studios on a big screen version of the stage musical Cats, which Poitier would supposedly direct, which is a lie. He's a con man. But this story doesn't end there. Featured among the supporting cast of 6 Degrees of Separation is a young man named Jeffrey Abrams, who later took the professional name of J.J. Abrams and became a film director himself. Cut to December 2019, that J.J. Abrams directed Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker is released in theaters on the same day as the film adaptation of Cats. That is crazy. Thank you for sharing that, Sinram. That's a good fun fact to rival anything Niji Kichu. Ryan, you're right. I don't think Farmageddon was in the tweet storm of stuff that Netflix did, and I missed Farmageddon. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry. And I am excited for that. I was actually just thinking I should rewatch Shaun the Sheep movie for that, and I don't know how that left it. Will it count if I pay you? What do you mean? Cheers, Saram. All right. Okay. All right, so another Simram question, and it kind of goes into something I was going to say in this video anyway, so it's kind of why I'm letting him have two. Anyway, Jim, will you be doing a best of the decade video, and if so, perhaps a companion video on the worst films of the decade? I've tempted to go back and look at the worst of videos you've done for previous years. I find them quite funny, but if you're doing a worst films of the decade video, then I'll postpone doing that. So here's what I'm doing with best films of the year, decade, worst, all that. I'm going to do best films of the year in January and worst films of the year, and best animated film, best animated whatever of the year, and then I'm going to do the same thing in February, but of the decade. I wanted to focus on the year because that takes a while, and then focus on the decade as well. So that would takes a bit to organize those sort of things. So that's why the delay. All right. This is a question from Will, who also helped do things. Will asks, want to keep the Cats conversation going because it's also funny. The whole reanimation post-production thing is anything to go by. Do you think more studios are going to pull what Universal did, where they release apparently unfinished films, and after a movie has already been released, what a wild time to be alive? I've heard that has happened before, supposedly. People keep telling me that. I don't know how true that is, but I keep hearing that has happened on the DL, but I don't know if that is happening. Yeah, I'm mad I didn't include Farmageddon. But I've heard that it is happening. We'll see if it does happen at some point. But I kind of think it could, because they get so down the line to these VFX things, especially because they keep hiring directors who don't know how to do visual effects. And it's like, they might be fine directors, but hire people who actually know what they're doing with the camera. Just because they're good with actors doesn't mean they're the right director for that. And I think that's the problem with Tom Hooper. He shouldn't have done a Cats movie the way he did, because he didn't know what he was doing. Or get a second unit guy who knows how to help you with that. You know what I mean? It didn't really work. And I think that's probably more of the problem, but I think it probably will happen again. But I think if a studio is going to do that, I honestly think if it's running that close and they could tell the production like Cats, they should have delayed it. But it will. I don't think this is the last time this will happen. No, I think it'll happen again. And it could happen several times, but I definitely think it'll happen again. I don't know. I don't have a production to call that out on, but I think it will. Damn, I'm really Ryan. Now I'm really thinking about Farmageddon. God damn it. That's all on me. I'm not mad at Ryan. Should ask Ryan, too. Because he would have been like, Farmageddon, Jim. I should. Anyway, it's not Will's fault. It's my fault, because I definitely knew about Farmageddon. Damn it. I'm excited for that one. I wonder why Netflix didn't. You know what? I blame Netflix for not properly promoting Aardman. That's what I say. Anyway. Let's get to the chat questions. If for some reason I do not answer your chat question, it is nothing. Don't take offense. please feel free to message me or tweet me or something. If you actually have a question that doesn't get answered, or if you're watching later and you'd like to ask a question, do so in the comments. Find me, I will answer it. I'm pretty chill about that stuff, so let me know. Anyway, here we go. Bruce Parker, with this new decade that could bring in 90s nostalgia to the big screen, which seems more likely a reboot, remake of a film like Clueless, or a ton of 90s references in films. I don't know what will be the thing. I think there will be a Speed 3 at some point, but I definitely think we'll see a remake, maybe of like a 90s, a movie version of a 90s sitcom or something like that. But I really don't want a Clueless remake, and I don't think they should. Question: what are 2 movies you believe are connected but aren't exactly sequels? I guess a belief that they're connected but aren't. Wow. I've always thought Hudsucker Proxy and Big Lebowski were sort of connected. I've always thought Barton Fink is connected to Eraserhead. That's a better one. I've always thought that, to be honest with you. So that's a good one. Nathaniel Fogel, what would you want out of a Monster Truck sequel? I would want more Creech, and I want a lot more violence, and I'd like Creech to have a girlfriend, maybe? I don't know. Stuff like that. Ryan Walterson, what's your favorite song from a bad movie? I would say He Needs Me from Popeye, but I don't think that's a bad movie. I would probably say maybe the Batman Forever soundtrack, or maybe a song from the Crow City of Angels soundtrack, like that whole Gold Dust Woman cover. Or, oh no, the Smashing Pumpkins song from Batman and Robin. The beginning is the end is the beginning, or the end is the beginning is the end. Yeah, I have the remix album. The end is the beginning is the end. That is the best. Yeah, that's a good song. Same with like Flow Rider from one of the Step Up movies. Maybe that one? Yeah, sure. Question: thoughts on The Gift by Sam Raimi? I don't think The Gift's... Oh, yes, I have seen that. I'm sorry. Yes, I remember it being good. I haven't seen it since I saw it on DVD like a year after it came out. It seemed good at the time. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. Zix, the past question: what 90s video game mascot is deserving of a cartoon or movie? Earthworm Jim, I think, would be cool if you got the right director. That sounds like something that would never work, but I want it to work. Fun fact from Cornbread: Lego is making both Trolls 2 and Minions sets this year, which means if Universal does make new films, we'll probably get cameos from both those franchises in the new Lego movies. Yay. That's not a fun fact. That's a sad fact. Zane Powers, question: any thoughts on the reports that it was Kennedy's idea to bring back Palpatine in Episode 9? I actually think it was more Abrams, but maybe it was Kennedy's. I think it was a stupid idea, whoever's idea it was. Monster Truck is now a film I want to see. Monster Trucks I don't think is going to make Best of the Decade. It'll make A-list, I'll put it that way. There's a lot of questions in here. Oh no. Okay. Question: what films would you say were worth seeing opening day? Black Panther, I would say, or any Force Awakens, Endgame, stuff like that. Phantom Menace, because you thought it was going to be better than it was. Maggie Rabbit, sorry. Are you excited for Cartoon Saloon's new movie? Did you ever put out that drawing? Did you? I never saw it. You should do something with that drawing, by the way. That was cool. I wanted to see it, the one you're working on. You should. Anyway, let me know whenever it's out. Are you excited for Cartoon Saloon's new movie, Wolfwalkers, same studio that made Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea? Yes, I am. And what's the Puff and Rock? Sophie watches a lot of that. I am. I mentioned that in the thing, in the honorable mentions part, but I am excited for that. Major Mekazawa, question: the Kubrick book on your shelf, is that one written by Michael Clement or someone else? I'll let you know. It's written by John Baxter. I don't know if it's good. I've had it forever. I haven't read it in a while. I'm not sure if it's a good one. It's just like there at this point. I don't know. Question: what are your thoughts on the films The Avengers, Troll in Central Park, and Jersey Boys? I have not seen any of those, but I've heard The Avengers is very bad, saving Trolls in Central Park, and I didn't see Jersey Boys. So that's my thoughts, I guess. Do you still talk to Adam from Your Movie Sex? I've only talked to him when he's been on Pizza Party. So I don't. I've heard people ask me that before. We're just like, I don't have a problem with them. We just only talk when we're on a podcast together. Question. I like that. You've heard of Movie Pass. Now get ready for Movie Patch. That's good. Austin, I'll just call you Austin. Question, thoughts on the Harley Quinn show, the Harley Quinn's animated show? If so, what are your thoughts? I don't really have any thoughts, but I've heard good things. I didn't think it would be the greatest, but people seem to be into it. Zane Powers lists the 5 best benefits from being in the Illuminati. Ice cream, Taco Tuesdays, $5 off Burger King, free pizza, and no taxes. You don't have to pay taxes. No one tells you that. Question, spells. Speaking of which, any thoughts on the Dragon and Doolittle? I mean, I don't know, Drews Parker. I'm it's gonna be ridiculous. I'm excited. Question, I mean, I guess if that's the right word. I'm also excited. I didn't mention there is supposed to be a Norm of the North 4. So when are we getting a release date for that? Okay. Tyler Bibby? Is that how you say it? Anyway, sorry if I said that wrong. Best and worst examples of foreign language directors moving to English language films. Best, Ang Lee. Pretty much anything he's done that isn't Gemini Man or The Long Halftime Walk. Was it My Blueberry Nights by Wong Kar-wai? I think I saw it, but it was like so forgettable. And Truffaut did Fahrenheit 451, which everyone forgets about. When and where does Pizza Party stream? I can never seem to find it. Follow my Twitter feed, non-plausible. If we are streaming, I tweet it out. If we are doing it tomorrow, I don't know if we're streaming it, but anyway, sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said we were doing it tomorrow. Question, are you excited for Katsuhiro Otomo's upcoming film, Audible Area? Have you seen any of his films in theaters? I have not, and I am excited. I don't know when that's coming out. I didn't see a release. So this is my problem with why I almost didn't want to do an anticipated film list, because there's always stuff that like people bring up that I forget, and things change and all that stuff. So anyway, but I am excited for that. Question, who let the dogs out? Ryan, you let the dogs out. Don't open the gate. Why'd you do that? Anyway, I should have just said, who? Okay. Question, who would you want to narrate a World War III documentary? Probably PewDiePie. I feel like that's the future we live in. Zane Powers, question, with how Terminator, Dr. Sleep, and Star Wars failing either critically or financially, do you think IP is king trend is starting to fade? And what do you think will take its place? I always thought we'd more in concept time than IP time, but I think the problem with each of those, Terminator had the wrong release date, Dr. Sleep should have been called The Shining 2, and Star Wars, just the script wasn't there. I think it's not the end of IP, but I think the problem is doing these kind of follow-ups and doing so much IP kind of hurt it. I do think we live in more of a concept time, and you need to rile people up regardless of what that IP is. And I think that's probably part of the problem. I don't think we live in a movie star time yet. We live more in a concept time that grabs people's attention. Even something like Bird Box, which has a major star like Sandra Bullock, was sold on a concept. You need a concept. That's why Get Out hit. That's even why Us hit. You need a concept. We live in a concept time. So that's why that is. What's your favorite good, bad movie? Maybe Cats? I'm not sure. Probably Masters of the Universe. Does that count as one? Question, if you change anything about the Star Wars prequels made canon, what would it be? As in things that added or changed the lore? I would keep Darth Maul. That would be my first thing. It's interesting. A lot of people bring up Cartoon Saloon. Remember when they were going to have a deal with Apple and nothing happened with that? I still feel like that was something Apple should have done. It would have helped out Cartoon Saloon a lot. Question, you see the cartoon interview with the Klaus director? I did not. Would you ever review the story of a video game? One that I don't think I would, just because I don't think I don't think it would be that interesting, but maybe if someone put it in my movie review vote, maybe I would have to. But I thought about doing the Spider-Man one. I thought about doing Dragon Slayer, so maybe I should at some point. Maybe I would, because I've always thought about doing Dragon Slayer. I always thought maybe no one would, but that kind of makes me think you should. What are some great double features that you have from Major Mekuzawa? For example, I think Akira and A Clockwork Orange would pair up really well. I would say Speed and Speed 2? I don't know. All my double features are sort of lame and are usually done for more necessity, so I don't even... I did Wayne's World and RoboCop, and it accentuated the comedy in RoboCop. That was a good one. Question: how do you respond to people who say they didn't like monster trucks? I would say they're right, or maybe not. I don't know. I would say they're not true Creech fans. Question: have you ever read the Sonic the Hedgehog comic? Like a couple, but I was never a big fan. Have I missed anything? Oh, so many things. I'd love... Oh, someone said, Jim, I was surprised you didn't mention the 2 MoviePass movies I put on the list. War with Grandpa and another. I put those on the list because I'm curious if MoviePass could even release them. That's why I didn't do that. So I'm sorry. I try to do a lot, but there's a lot of movies I want to see this year, and it was hard to put everything. But anyway, thank you all very much for coming to the stream. I think that's everything. There's been a lot of reviews. I'm sorry this week has only been 3 videos, but this is a pretty long stream, so I think it sort of worked out in a way this time. But I would just say thank you all very much for watching. Thank you all for all your support. Thank you for the super chats this time. Thank you everyone who's a patron. I'm hoping this will be a good week of content. I'm hoping. A lot of cool stuff coming up. We'll be back next week. Check out my reviews of Cats. All Dogs Go to Heaven. That, if you're wondering, I reversed the order of the movie review vote winners, which I asked the person who selected All Dogs Go to Heaven. So if there's any question about that, I always ask if I have to delay something or move it. Because I wanted Muppet Christmas Carol to come out right before Christmas. I did a review of that. I did too many Christmas reviews. And I just did a review of Spies in Disguise. So check those out. Spies in Disguise is surprisingly better than you think. So check that movie out if you want to. Check out Cineram's channel because it's really good. And I always ask you guys to. Please do. He has this cool thing where he does the summer of a particular year and goes through all the interesting movies of the year. It's a good series as well. Everyone, thank you so much. Yes, I'm Jim Gisriel, so I remember it so you don't have to. Ryan, thank you for reminding me about Farmageddon. I'm embarrassed. I didn't. I think this is going to be a cool year. And I think that's everything. Hopefully I'll be on the next pizza party, which I probably maybe shouldn't have hyped, but I did anyway. Also, I will have in the link of the description of this video when it goes to subscribers later, the link to order tickets for MomoCon. If you're going to MomoCon, go to that link to tell them that you were there to see Pizza Party. And I'm very excited to be at MomoCon. I think that's everything. Anyway, sorry, this has gone on. This is a really long movie crap. But I wanted to say thank you all very much for your support. Thank you for everything. And you guys all have a good night and subscribe if you would like to. Bye.